Welcome to the Black Duck Revival Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Wilkins. I'm excited to have you join me as I speak with a fascinating collection of folks, all of whom have in common that they've made a way for themselves by finding an intersection between thoughtful consideration and the tactile work of getting their hands dirty. This is an examination of intention, capability, and craft. It's where philosophy meets the blue-collar work ethic and where I find real value. The 2023 Black Duck Revival Turkey Tour is brought to you by Rome Adventure Company, makers of high quality and rugged outdoor gear to get you where you want to be on all your vehicle-based adventures. I've got the Black Duck Revival van outfitted with the Vagabond XL tent that sleeps 3 to 4 people. It's got a 3-inch high density foam mattress, very comfortable, and an anti-condensation pad to keep you warm and dry. Takes just 5 minutes to set up and another 5 to put back in the morning, and you're on your way to wherever the road might take you. Please check out Rome Adventure Company at romeadventureco.com. Get on the road and make the most of it. The Black Duck Revival podcast is sponsored by our friends over at Hunters of Color. Hunters of Color is a 501c3 nonprofit. They're the only nationwide hunting nonprofit led by BIPOC for BIPOC. They're working on increasing Black, Indigenous, and other peoples of color participation in hunting for the sake of conservation, food sovereignty, and to preserve our ancestral traditions. They do that by focusing on their 3 pillars, which is mentorship, conservation, and education. So if you want to get involved with Hunters of Color, if you want to support that good work that they're doing, check them out at their website. It's huntersofcolor.org or on all social media platforms. Hunters of Color. Now to the show. Hey, everybody. I am back at home at the end. I reached the end of Turkey Bebop 2003 yesterday. I finished up with a bird in Oklahoma with my buddy Joshua Henson over there on the Chickasaw Reservation, and then I skedaddled on home to see my wife and my children who I had left so many days ago. But this week's guest is my dear friend Jimmy Flatt, one of the co-founders of the sponsor of this podcast, Hunters of Color, a nonprofit based there in Oregon. And I guess this is like the 3rd year. This has kind of become like a springtime ritual for me and Jimmy, just like turkey hunting together. And this year was actually real different because Jimmy's better half, Lydia Parker, one of the other co-founders of Hunters of Color, she was away on business, so she was gone in D.C., so we met up in Jimmy's hometown in California and stayed with his wonderful parents, Geraldine and Jamie, who were gracious enough to open their home to me last year, and then did so for me and Jay Byer, who was along doing some photography stuff. But we just had like a blast there, hunting turkeys and just hanging out with his family and kicking it. And then we bumped up to this really amazing property in Northern California, kind of up by Humboldt, this Eel River Preserve, and we got to hunt there for a few days. And then we went up to Corvallis and where Jimmy's house is, and we hunted there a couple days. And we didn't get anything in Oregon together, and then I kind of moved on and had to record some podcast and just hunted for like another week, mostly by myself in Oregon before moving on. But this was like just such a good, long kind of, hang. You get to a place in a relationship with somebody, where it's not just the accumulation of experiences. It's also you start to accumulate time. And so that's kind of happening now, right? It's like 3rd year hunting together, and hunting is like a really kind of intense and can be intimate thing. Just like figuring out how each other thinks and how you move, man. And like me and Jimmy are definitely a dichotomy of he is incredibly meticulous and patient, and I'm much more kind of emotionally driven. But he's just a dude I like so much and I appreciate so much, and man, I'm just stoked to be friends with him. I like to get to spend time with him and just kind of see the world through his eyes a little bit. And just like a real positive, optimistic, just good dude, like good human being. And I've gotten the bulk of my turkey hunting knowledge from this guy. And, then I take it and twist it and turn it into stuff that works for me. But, even when I'm out there by myself in East Oregon or when I was in Colorado or whatever, I do realize that when my first instinct is to try and like belly crawl up on a turkey, I'm kind of thinking like, what would Jimmy do? And Jimmy would just sit there and wait for 5 more minutes. Right. So that's what I do now. I just wait and I look at my clock and I make myself wait, a certain amount of time between calling and all that stuff. So if you aren't familiar with the good work that Jimmy is doing over there at Hunters of Color, I implore you to go to their website, take a look at it. But just, aside from even all the business stuff and kind of in this space, like business and hanging out and hunting and all these things that kind of mix up, dude. But, man, I had such a good time. And I hope you enjoy this conversation with my dear friend, Jimmy Flatt. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Black Duck Revival podcast. This week, I'm in Oregon, Corvallis, more specifically, or thereabouts, the Willamette River Valley, with my dear friend, James Vincent Flatt. I know that because he's got his diploma prominently displayed in his home. But Jimmy Flatt, COO, Chief Operating Officer of Hunters of Color, a 501c3 dedicated to facilitating hunting, fishing, and outdooring opportunities for BIPOC people.
You nailed it.
Also, title sponsor of this podcast, which means that I am contractually obligated to have him on for about an hour or so. But really, Jimmy, so today is, what day is today?
Today's Saturday? No, Friday.
Today's Friday?
Yep.
Yeah, so like literally almost 2 weeks we've been running together. We met in California. My buddy Jay Byer was with me. And then we met in California and we hunted there. This like really cool property that you've had access to for a long time. And then we bumped up to this. I mean, we're going to talk about all this stuff, but we bumped up to this unreal place. You were just like, oh, I got access to this place that they said they've got some turkeys on it. And then we get there and it's 33,000 acres on the Eel River. And there's like 5 other people there and none of them are hunting. They're just like, there was that Dutch. Mm-hmm. This guy, he's actually Dutch, but they just call him Dutch. And I don't know what he was doing, just kind of riding around in a 4-wheeler.
Yeah, just looking at the roads.
Yeah, just seeing what's up. I think he's like a retired road engineer.
That's what I heard.
And he like lives out there on this property and kind of in exchange for room and board there. He's got a cabin. He kind of takes care of the roads. And then in a road system, I should say that when we entered the gate to get to like the lodge area, it took like almost an hour. Mm-hmm. I mean, this place is massive. But you got Dutch there, and then you had, I guess, the rancher, and there's like the husband and wife and like a few kids, and we never really encountered them. And then Molly and Dane, who Molly is the preserve manager, and Dane is her partner and maintenance man there. And this was is it the Wildland Conservancy?
Yes, the Wildland Conservancy.
Wildland Conservancy, man, this property they got. And we'll talk more about that. But basically, man, we've just been like running around and hunting turkeys, and we got some pigs there too in Northern California. And I'd just say like overall just having a blast, man, right? Mm-hmm. Drinking beers and hanging out and, being crass and all that stuff. Like, it's good to get that stuff out of you so that you can be a functional member of society for the rest of the time.
Yep.
I've been learning, and don't worry, we're not delving too deep into it, but I've been learning that Jimmy's a more complicated man than I I think I once gave him credit for. I always liked him. I always thought he was a fantastic human being, but there's an edge to Jimmy Flatt that I didn't know existed, and I'm glad to see it's there, man. I am glad to see it's there. I think this is a man you could be in a foxhole with, and I think that after he like calculated the trajectory of whatever projectiles you were throwing, he'd get it done. But anyway, so we've talked about Hunters of Color, right? We talk about I think if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard the ad, you kind of know what it is. So I'm sure we'll encounter it in the conversation, and maybe talk about some of the growth and stuff of the organization. But man, I think this time would be better spent just regaling the listeners with some of the more interesting things that have happened over the last couple of weeks. Because we've been a bunch of places, strange landowner encounters, like riding bikes around and hunting turkeys on mountain bikes and killing pigs like real far away from anything. Mm-hmm. Like as dark is setting in. What else has happened? I mean, we've had some great meals, man. We got to spend some cool time with your family, man. Your parents are a hoot. Your mother, we got to bring her up. Geraldine loves that champagne, dude. Mm-hmm. And I'll have this image burned in my head where I'm like, so look, we're not going to tell everybody where you're from, right? But we'll just say California. Mm-hmm. And so what has happened the last couple of years is I've come out to your parents' house. I've met you there. And we've hunted this property that you've had permission on since you were a kid. And then I guess the next door neighbors have a house in Mexico, so they're never there. And they just kind of got this house that looks like no one's there. The fucking cars are in the front, got that algae on them and stuff. But so I just park right in front of that, like the next door neighbor's driveway. And it's like my own little camp spot, right? Like 2 years in a row, I can run an extension cord out there. And then I come in, hang out, we do whatever, and then I go out there and go to sleep. But yeah, so I was kind of taking it. I'd fallen asleep. That's what had happened. I've been out there laying kind of warm, had the doors open, and here comes Jimmy walking out here with 2 champagne flutes. Because Geraldine, he was asking me if I was ready to get up and go to dinner, and Geraldine had sent him out with a flute of champagne, which is such a wonderful juxtaposition to the like an old van that some dude's sleeping in a driveway. Yeah. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, it smells like blood and BO and stuff in here. And here's Jimmy with a champagne flute. But yeah, man, I don't know, dude. You're just sitting here. I mean, this is kind of a lot of what happens, which is me dominating the conversation. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the last 2 weeks of Turkey Bebop?
Well, I guess I don't get to spend a lot of time hunting for myself anymore. I focus on getting other people out.
Yeah.
And so this trip has become the thing that I look forward to every year to get away and do some healing for myself. And
healing, man. Yeah. We're getting real, dog. Okay.
Revival.
There you go. There you go.
I'm getting revived. But yeah, so the last 2 years we've been able to go down and hang out with my parents and hunt the property that I grew up kind of cut my teeth with or on. And it's just great to spend time with family and friends and be able to share a piece of something that shaped me.
Yeah, dude. Byron was super fun to have around.
Yep.
And he got how cool that property was. Man, I wanted to be like, dude, Byron, you thought this joint was cool. You should have seen when we got up here by the Mendocino National Forest. But so how did it, I'm trying to remember how it went. So we went out hunting the first day there at your childhood property. And I'm trying to remember what happened. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we set up on that tree and we had a 3/4 strut Jake out. We had a like a single hen.
Yeah.
And the turkeys were doing their thing, and at first Jay was like, when are these turkeys gonna show up? And then like 9 o'clock hit or something like that, and just one after the other down the road. There's like we counted like a total of
No. Oh yeah.
Up.
They were way up high on that road. Okay, I got you. Yeah, and he's like, dude, that's like 10 toms over there.
Yeah,
it was gnarly. They were all puffed up, and yeah, it was wild.
And so they slowly worked their way in, and we finally got one to have like a visibility, like it came within eyesight of the decoys, and that's when it happened.
Yeah, it just came. I mean, it just came charging in and jumped on that decoy's ass.
Yeah, and that was the weirdest thing. That was the first time hunting over a 3/4 strut Jake, and the turkey came in and just like it like hugged the decoy.
It jumped on it, and when it did, it kind of like its wing went around the decoy, so it looked like it was, like when your drunk uncle comes up to you at the party and like, I want to tell you something. That's what it looked like. Except he kept that wing around it and just trying to whoop its butt, man.
Yeah, and he kept spinning around the decoy stake, like maybe it felt like 10 times, and I was at full draw the whole time.
Yeah, we were bow hunting.
Yeah, bow hunting. And finally I've let an arrow fly and hit him, but didn't hit him great.
Man, it was a weird... So we should probably... We should talk about this, like bow hunting and turkeys. Which is like ultimately, like we went back and because I filmed it and Jay had pictures of it. And I mean, ultimately it was like 2 inches off, 2 to 3 inches further left than you wanted it to be.
Yeah. And I think
also the angle, the body angle, which is something, I think we learned a lot this year.
Yeah. The point of impact was perfect, but the bird was contorted in such a way that his vitals were not where they normally are because his arm was up and over that decoy.
Yeah.
And so that minor difference right there is the difference between.
And dude, like it hit him. He like fell over. I thought he was dead, man. Like I mean, even on the video, I'm like, good job. You got him, dude. You got him. And then the thing got up and ran away. And dude, I was surprised because, so like we had bow hunted there last year, and I killed we killed 5 archery birds there last year, right? And like no problems, like killed them and they were dead, right? And then this year, you had that situation happen, and then I shot a turkey dead on, like between its wishbone at 15 yards. Like I don't know how it could have been any better. And literally, and so that bird ended up getting up and I had to put a second arrow in it. And when I plucked it, and then I ended up kind of doing like a necropsy on it. And when I did it, dude, just the way that arrow went in, it rode the inside of the rib cage, and it just missed every vital organ except like the corner of one blade, like, nicked the heart. And so he was like in a bad way, but he was able to get, what did he get? Probably 40, 50 yards.
50 yards, and then he started getting ganged up on by
and then all these other toms jumped on him. And then when they left, went there to get him, and he jumped up and he moved like another 10 yards, and then he was done, and I put another arrow in him. And it was like, I don't think it hasn't made me not want to bow hunt turkeys, but there are definitely some considerations, like body angle and shot. And even on that deal, man, I was really cognizant of like trying to hit it right. And maybe I'll put the video up or something on Instagram, but Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a trade-off too, because what's also rad about it is you ain't worried about TSS pellets in your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that'll crack a tooth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, so that would have been my 4th archery turkey,
Mm-hmm.
and that was, so I know you like numbers. Like 25% of them, I had to put a second shot in.
Mm-hmm.
That's not terrible, but it ain't great. I don't know. I think more thinking needs to be done on it, and probably a little more work on my end, and just just kind of attention to detail.
Mm-hmm. It's a steeper learning curve than with a shotgun.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, yeah, dude. Those birds I got with Jay in Texas, and there's been I've had a lot of close shots so far this season, man. And those birds I got in Texas, like the first one came in, or they both came in, and when that first one got to inside of 15 yards, I shot him with my 12 gauge, and you can see, I remember it so clearly, and then Jay has all these pictures of it, and it looks like stop motion, and you can see that turkey. I mean, because he took a 12 gauge load of TSS, just dead on to his head, right? And that thing, it picked him up off his feet, and he just flipped backwards and didn't twitch.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'd say shotgun's definitely preferred method.
Yep.
That property is weird, though. And what's interesting about this West Coast stuff is there's a lot more opportunities to hunt private with bows
mm-hmm.
because of, I guess, just popular sentiment towards firearms.
Yep. Especially in California.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's so much different than Arkansas, dude.
Yeah. But even here, I have a couple properties that I can hunt that are exclusively bow only. But that's because they don't want to wake up to the sound of a shotgun.
I always wonder about that, in East Arkansas. People duck hunting, and then, a lot of these farmers and stuff, you driving up in there at 3 o'clock, the dogs go nuts. And then, I remember I hunted with some dudes, and we hunted on a snow goose field, probably 300 yards from these people's house, because that's where the feed was. Mm-hmm. And it's these people hear 100 shots in 10 seconds. I bet they hate it. They probably like the money, but I bet they hate it.
Yeah.
But so what? We had those archery birds. We got 2 shotgun birds on that property,
mm-hmm.
Which was, so both. We've had that twice, right? Where I've killed a bird, and then you took the shotgun and you went and got one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. Maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, I've yet to use my own shotgun for a bird this year.
We should talk about that setup we were running, man, because it was really effective. And you're all like, man, I'm getting a 20 gauge for turkeys now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have a Remington Versamax that weighs 9 pounds with shotgun shells in it.
It's a heavy gun, yeah.
It's heavy.
I think that gun's heavier than my 870, and my 870 is like a blunderbuss.
Yeah. And just carrying around your 20 gauge is feels like a toy gun.
So light, yeah.
It's light. It's compact. Easy to maneuver. When we were on those mountain bikes, it was easy to pack around. And
yeah, definitely easier.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm thinking about switching over to 20 gauge.
Dude, I'm thinking for those turkeys, dude, because everything you said, totally. That's a Mossberg 500, 20 gauge Mossberg 500 that I bought for Marianne 12 years ago. And she's never even, I know she's never shot it. Mm-hmm. It's really, even though it's short for me compared to my normal shotgun, it's a little too long for her. I think she'd probably actually do better with a youth model, mm-hmm. which would be a super good turkey gun, dude.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd really change on that Mossberg is I'd want 20-inch barrel. But yeah, I mean, so we've been shooting TSS, mm-hmm. federal TSS. On those 20 gauge, it's 7s and 9s stacked. Very effective load, tons of pellets. And then we have that Vortex red dot scope on there, which it's actually the Vortex red dot that's intended for a concealed carry pistol. which is why it's a 6 MOA. But man, it's been great. Like you put that bead on it, it's super clear target acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost looks clear through the glass of that deal. But man, you want to tell that? I'll tell you what. So let's talk about where we ended up, because we can talk about this Eel River Preserve.
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about the donkey I shot of a turkey that was like twice the size.
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that at all. I killed this turkey. It like snuck up through the woods on us, and I just caught a flash of it, and we were calling the birds that were like behind us, or no, in front of us, and then this bird came in from behind us, like looped all the way around, and I shot that bird at probably 10 or 15 yards when it was coming over a log. And I was like, dope, dude, man. I was like, look at this, man. There's cool spurs, man. There's all good. And then Jimmy sees this pack of birds, and he like sneaks up on. Well, you tell the story, man.
Yeah, so they were under this tree that they normally hang out around, and they got out of sight. I was like, give me the shotgun. So I snuck up, and Jay was behind me the whole time, and got to the point where I could see their heads start poking up, and the first big red one that I knew was a tom. And he was like, it was significantly bigger than the other heads, so I was like, that's got to be a tom. Pulled the trigger. He was done. And when we went to go pick him up, like, just the diameter of his neck was probably like 3 inches.
Dude, his head it looked like a softball. It was his spurs were like, we measured them. They were 1.25 inches.
Hey.
Big giant spurs. Big cool beard. But man, like the head on this bird, it was, we laid them next to each other, and it looked like a wolf and a pug. It was wild. I love that. That's what you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it was the luck of the draw at that point.
Yeah, but man, time. That's probably I know that's the biggest turkey I've ever seen, man.
And then your tom, you were finding a bunch of like scabs on its breast and stuff like that.
So he had been spurred up.
Probably
dude.
getting spurred by a bunch of other toms.
Well, 10 toms running around.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's talk about this Eel River Preserve, because you were just like, follow me, and then took me into the weirdness, the absolute weirdness that is Northern California. And I guess people refer to like Sacramento as Northern California, but I'm talking about like, we're getting up to Humboldt and stuff, right? And so,
state of Jefferson. That's what.
Yeah, the state of Jefferson, which if folks don't know, there's a small contingent of people in Northern California and in Lower Oregon that want to secede from those states and create a 51st state called the state of Jefferson.
Yep.
Which would be an unbelievably beautiful place. And I would argue probably fucking lawless, man. It would be like Deadwood, dude. Because these are like, you know what, man? It was so reminiscent of like, it just shows you, I mean, there's just a common string that runs through rural America. But so I'd say like for California standards, right? I'm sure these like tar paper shacks cost $1 million, but for California standards, man, like we're going through little towns that are pretty economically depressed, right? This whole area, for a long time, it proliferated because of illegal marijuana growing, right?
Yep.
But, man, good God, man, like unbelievably gorgeous. Looks like New Zealand, rolling green hills. But yeah, talk about this property and how you got us access to it.
Yeah, so it was probably a couple years ago, and there was an article in the local newspaper about how pigs are starting to encroach on like the vineyards and have more like economic. They're causing some stress to farmers and
it's a deleterious economic impact.
Yeah, and I got in contact with a guy named Landon Papple, who is the property manager and hunt and fish manager for the Wildland Conservancy of California, and they just acquired a property up in Oregon. And they're a nonprofit who purchases larger pieces of property to do conservation work on them, very similar to like the Nature Conservancy or any other land trust. They are technically not a land trust, but they have, I think they manage around 200,000 acres in the state of California, and I think another 12 in the state of Oregon. But so I linked up with Landon, and he hooked me up with one of their property managers, and he said, "Hey, you guys should go check out this piece of property that's on the Eel River because we've got a big pig population up there, and we would love for you all to be able to take your members and mentees out there to learn how to pig hunt." And so I drove out there and to Garberville, Oregon, or not Oregon. No, this is Garberville, Jefferson,
California.
California. Yeah. It's a 3-hour drive from where I was in the Bay Area of California, and but from Garberville, it's another 3-hour drive to the lodge.
Dude, okay, but wait.
And so
no, you need to clarify when you say 3 hours. It took us from Cavello. It took us 3 hours to make it 30 miles
to the gate. Yeah. So there's 2 ways into the property. They have a northern entrance and a southern entrance. The property is 33,000 acres, which is massive. I think they have like 18 miles along the Eel River.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so I'll also preface this with if you go in from Garberville is like known to be like pretty much the center of the Emerald Triangle. The Emerald Triangle is the 3 different counties, Trinity, Humboldt, and Mendocino counties, where like it's been known as like the pot growing capital of the U.S. And until it was legalized,
illicit pot growing.
Yes, illicit. Until it was legalized, this is where like all of the legal grows were. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them. And there's a show on Netflix called Murder Mountain.
Yeah.
And the epicenter of that is Garberville and this small town that we passed through twice or 3 times called Alder Point.
Yeah.
So that's where this property is. It's tucked into the mountains along the Eel River. From their gates, it's an hour drive to the lodge. And we're going like 15 to 20 miles an hour the whole time. So it's...
I wasn't. You were going. But you were going a little faster than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And it's just dirt road.
Yep.
Like next to a cliff sometimes, like kind of windy, incredibly beautiful. I keep saying New Zealand. It very much looks like, now this is because it's in the spring and everything's green. There's been a lot of rain. But it looks like, think about Lord of the Rings that's what I think about. But like the Shire, right? Like these big rolling hills. This had been logged like 90 years ago, so it was all second growth stuff. So none of the huge old redwoods or anything like that there, but gorgeous. There's elk. They saw elk herds.
Yep.
Crazy shit piles of blacktails everywhere. Pigs. And like, dude, these aren't like Texas scrapping it out. Like, these pigs are living good, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, they have these beautiful pastures to run around in. They've got orchards there. Mm-hmm. They're like essentially unmolested. Like there's no one chasing them hard, right? Mm-hmm. Fat, pleasant lives, cool breeze coming in on a hot day. Like these pigs were living great, man.
Yeah.
Turkeys, obviously. We had
turkeys. There were jackrabbits. Saw bobcat. They were rolling in.
Lots of bears.
Yeah, so this place is amazing. And the only issue with it is how remote it is. And that's for us to like get people out there to hunt it.
Sure.
That's been the biggest barrier so far. But we were granted access to go out on our way up to Oregon, and I figured it'd be a fun place for Jonathan to get his last turkey in in California. California allows you 3 birds per spring season. And yeah, so we got there. We hunted for 2 days, and in 2 days we got 2 turkeys and 2 pigs.
Yeah. Earned that last pig, man.
Yeah. We should talk about the style of the way we were hunting those turkeys.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Go for it, man.
So it's very reminiscent of how we hunt for elk on the Oregon coast. We take mountain bikes. We strap everything onto our packs, and about every little canyon we go into, we either bugle or yelp. The one thing I didn't have with me was my bugle tube.
Yeah.
But that probably would have been beneficial to have with us is a bugle tube.
To project it?
Yeah, to yelp and project our sound.
Hey, man, real quick, let's explain what a bugle tube is. It's basically like an old-style cheerleader megaphone. I mean, the way they started, and a lot of companies started and still do it, is they buy wiffle bats, and they cut the ends off of them, and then you put this like latex or it would be what? It would be like latex or they call it prophylactic because like condom material. But it's basically just like if you've seen a turkey call or an elk call, it's essentially just like a piece of very thin piece of latex or something stretched tight, and you stick it in your mouth, and then you can manipulate it to make these calls and yelps. But you'd stick that tube up to your mouth and make those noises into that projection device. But so, yeah, that's what Jimmy's saying is he wish he had a bugle tube to. Because, man, we didn't hear just a ton of gobbles at all out there.
Not a single one until we were within like 50 yards.
Yeah, and they were like up over a hump and down low.
Yeah.
And they just happened to, I don't think they were gobbling to us, were they?
No. You heard like a little yelp or something like that, and so we stopped the bikes and we yelped back, and that's when we heard those turkeys just right over that little rise.
And that was the only gobble we got.
We were frantically trying to get the gun off the pack, get the decoy set up, and then when we realized they weren't coming in, that's when we made our secondary approach, which is where we kind of like belly crawled in and laid eyes on them. And then when they got out of sight, you went forward. You got on that gnarly looking old, it was not a bay tree, but it was a buckeye tree. And you got into kind of like the snag of it.
Yeah, it had like a bunch of trunks kind of like in a circle, and it was just big enough for me to get down in the middle of it, which was a fantastic hide.
And so since I could see what the turkeys were doing, I kind of let out a couple yelps here and there, but facing it the opposite direction of them.
You were behind me and up high on top of a knoll.
Yeah, and behind a little, behind that little knoll. So let out a couple yelps and definitely got their attention, and it took them half an hour to. It
was 2 toms, and they had 3 hens, and they were tending them. All these turkeys we've been hunting have been henned up. I mean, you're looking at them, and they're not coming to you because they've got a lady right there, you know. And you've got eyes on them. They're hearing you. They're gobbling. They're strutting. They want you to come in there and join their harem, but they ain't coming to you.
Yeah, and so those toms eventually fed their way in, and
they puff up every once in a while.
Every once in a while, trying to get me as the illicit hen to walk in and come and join them. But eventually they got within 45-ish of you, and you pulled the trigger on that first tom, and when it hit the ground, the second tom came up to reestablish the pecking order.
Yeah, start whooping his ass again.
Yeah, and it was so crazy. They always pick up the head.
Yeah, well, you know why, man? That's totally the most vulnerable part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'll see them like they're grabbing its snoot and they're picking up its head and its beak and throwing it and pecking it.
Yeah. And so when that happened, it's kind of cool. I had the whole thing filmed on my phone from my perspective.
And then I'm going, Jimmy, come here, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And this is a pattern in our hunting, which is Jimmy is very patient and Yeah, you call it patient. I call it indecisive. But Jimmy is an engineer, and he's an analyzer, right? And I'm constantly having to like sit on my hands because I'm like, they're right over there. Let's go crawl up on them and get them. But I'm going, Jimmy, get over here. Jimmy, get over here, man. Like, this bird is distracted. And Jimmy is like, like kind of sneaking up. But it all worked out. So you got up to me. You got that shotgun. And then I turned my phone on.
Mm-hmm. And then I was able to get to 20 yards of this turkey as it was distracted and thumped him too. And doubled up for the second year in a row, or third year in a row.
We've doubled. Well, so the first day, the first turkey I ever killed, you and me shot at the same time and killed those times.
Yep.
And then last year on that grass farm, so the area we're in is known as the grass seed capital of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on this grass farm, and different kind of grass in Humboldt. And I am a dad. And we doubled up. We like 1, 2, 3 and got those times. Mm-hmm. And then this year, I wouldn't say that first turkey were like, because I shot that bird and then you killed that bird like 5 minutes later, like a totally different pack of birds. Mm-hmm. But I call that a double, mm-hmm. where like I shoot a bird and then, you killed that other bird within a minute, mm-hmm. you know, and could have killed it a lot earlier, but you were like, I was watching you walk up on it closer and closer. And I was like, dude, you don't have to get any closer. You can get this bird. But you were waiting. He was so busy pecking that thing's head. You were waiting for him to raise his head up so you could get him.
Yeah. The target kept moving.
Yeah.
With how close I was with the pattern and the type of ammo.
You definitely throwing a tight pattern right there.
Yeah. I need his head to be dead still, or at least still for a microsecond for me to pull the trigger.
Sure.
And finally popped up, and that's when I pulled the trigger.
Dude, that was such a fun day, man. And then, so let's talk about this lodge, because you say lodge and you hear this like big giant place and you hear lodge and you think it is really, really cool. But so I'll give you the quick history of this place.
Yeah.
Because
Molly walked
Dane. Yeah, Dane told me.
Oh, nice.
Well, Dane told me first. But so initially this was like 4 or 5 separate ranches that this like rich banker dude named Dean Witter in the late 30s from San Francisco, he bought it. And there's like a railroad track running next to the Eel River, and this guy had his own railroad car and that's how he used to get there to recreate. And so what he did was he bought this 33,000 acres. He like clear cut it essentially right off the bat, and he paid the entire loan back for the entire property in 2 years with timber sales.
Oh my goodness.
But obviously changed the way the place looks very much.
Yeah.
And then he started running cattle on it, and so they've been running cattle on it, since the 40s or whatever. And then as trees have grown, they've done like selective thinning, and it's been like an income source for the family, right? But and so he had built back then, like in the late 30s, he had built this lodge out there that's been added on to 1 million times. But dude, I don't think that they hadn't done much to it other than maybe swap out some appliances or something since the 50s. Mm-hmm. So this place was like frozen in time. I've got a really cool, thorough walkthrough I'll post on Instagram with the preserve manager, Molly Brightmoon. But mm-hmm. dude, I was just going like, oh my God, it looks like Teddy Roosevelt should be sitting in here. They got like lion heads and just wild stuff and this beautiful view. And like all this old furniture and all these old cool books, and just so rad. But they had this like old walk-in down like kind of in their basement area. And it was just cool. It was like a walk-in, but the walls were all like wooden planks and stuff. And mm-hmm. it had a thermometer in there, and it was keeping stuff cool enough. So we hung our turkeys in there. We hung our pigs whole in there. Mm-hmm. And they've got this, little processing shop there with these old Dexter and Old Hickory, wood handle carbon steel knives that are all been sharpened down to nubs. And it was such a cool place to work through all those animals, because then we ended up getting a couple of pigs. We were riding our bikes, and let's tell this story, man.
Yeah, so think we made it back to the trucks to.
Oh, this was next day, man.
Oh, next day.
This was after
the
turkeys, yeah.
Yeah, so we're back.
Because we drove. You didn't want to, man, but I was like, dude, I need a pig tag. And they won't let you buy a pig tag. You can buy it online, but you actually have to have a physical tag. Mm-hmm. So I was like, dude, we got to drive to Garberville. So we drove like 4.5 hours round trip so I could buy a tag and hunt. And we bought beer.
Yep.
But so then, yeah, that took up the rest of the day. So the next day we're pig hunting.
Yeah, so first thing in the morning we're actually, I think that same night when we got back, we made an approach on the night we got the turkeys, we made an approach from the top end, right? Where we
Oh yeah, we were trying to get those pigs up on the wayside. That sucked, man.
Yeah. So we probably dropped down like 1,000 feet into this area where we thought the pigs were, and we parked like way further away than we should have.
Yeah.
Anyway, so sunset, pigs were gone. Next day we get up and it was about 10 o'clock in the morning after spotting a pretty huge sow, like big belly at the bottom.
Yeah, big pink one.
Big pink one, where you ended up
killing one.
Yeah, they called it like Desolation Flats or something like that.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah. And so spotted a pig there. By the time we got the bikes ready, got everything ready to go to dive in after it, the pig was gone. And so we're going down towards the lodge, and I was not going too fast, not going too slow, and apparently Jonathan's behind me saying, "Jimmy, there's a pig, Jimmy."
No. Okay, let me correct this.
You tell me your perspective, and I'll tell you mine.
Jimmy's riding the bike, right? Oblivious to the world. I'm watching him. He's not looking left or right in any of these clearings that we're going through, and I'm literally going. I mean, he can't hear me, but I'm literally trying to talk to him. I'm like, Jimmy, man, I'd be looking in every one of these little clearings. I'd stop and blast, dog. And then I say that as I'm looking, and I look to my right, and there's a pig up on this kind of steep knoll, like, I don't know, 60 yards away from me, 70 yards away from me. And I'm like, Jimmy. And then I go, Jimmy, there's a fucking pig. And he like stops, and he like runs back to me, because we had this whole plan that like I would take his gun off of his pack and he would take my gun off of my pack. He just like drops his pack, gets his gun off, runs up to me, gives me my gun. And then tell him what happened, Jimmy.
Oh, man.
The reason I want to tell this, man, is not because anything bad happened or because I'm mad, but because this is what actually happens, man. Like, we're in this amazing place. There's going to be opportunities, but, you know, all that indecisiveness quickly went away from young Jimmy.
Yeah, I get blinded by a pig in front of me.
Meat lust, man.
Yeah. So turns out that there's two pigs, and when we turkey hunt together, we have a cadence. It's 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Yeah.
And so both pigs are kind of like walking up the side of this embankment. They're like 100 yards, less than 100 yards away.
Yeah, I think you're probably about 80 when you hit that pig.
Yeah, about 80 yards. And so I start the countdown, and we're both pulled up on the pigs. And I get to 3. I pull the trigger. Jonathan's pig had like just started to like quarter away to the point where it was gonna have to be like a Texas heart shot.
Yeah, I just didn't want to shoot it like that.
Yeah, you didn't want to shoot it through the guts. And what I forgot in that moment was that I recently put a muzzle brake on my rifle.
On a 300 Win Mag.
Yeah. And
and he was pulling the trigger about 3 feet away from Jonathan's head.
Yeah, so Jonathan was right in the gas pathway of the muzzle brake and concussed almost. And like I couldn't hear, Jonathan couldn't hear.
Jimmy couldn't hear me being mad at him because it hurt, dude. Like it really, like that, my left ear, because it only bothered really my left ear, because it like hurt. and I was like, "Fuck, man!" And I didn't get a pig too, so I was getting extra salty, man. And I'm like saying shit to Jimmy. He's like, "What? And I'm like, "Yeah, dude." 20 minutes before, you were like, "Dude, it's really important we wear ear protection when I shoot this gun." And we like both made sure we had earplugs and everything. Jimmy just sees like a big black pig and kills it. But anyway, man, he killed the pig. We could hear 10 seconds later, and we got up there, and man, big, beautiful, pretty pig, man.
Yeah,
we got cleaned up, and that dude Dutch, that's when we met Dutch, because Jimmy rode the bike down. I mean, it was by this road. This isn't road hunting, folks. This is technically a road, but I mean, it's like, we can't even drive cars to the lodge because it's washed out. Yeah. So we were like, we could get to within a couple miles of the lodge and then leave a vehicle at this river washout, and then we'd either walk or ride bikes. But anyway, Jimmy goes, and this guy had driven by like 10 minutes before. And so Jimmy caught him. The guy came up with a side-by-side, and we were, I cleaned the pig, and we were just get it up there and get it down to the lodge. It was pretty convenient, man.
Oh, it was awesome. And then, compared to yours, it was.
Yeah, and then mine, and dude, we don't have to tell every single hunting story, but basically, I'll tell you what I do want to talk about.
Well, we went down to Desolation Flats, or you want to talk about how pissed you're getting?
Oh yeah. No, I do want to talk about that because I started showing my ass. That's probably the first time you've seen me act like a total jackass, man. Right? Maybe not total jackass, but
you're just getting passionately.
No, I'll be honest with you. We were just physically getting our ass kicked. Yeah. I mean, it was so steep, and pig sign, I've never seen. It looked like a bulldozer had been rooting up this entire hillside all the way down for 2 hours of walking. And I'm like, dude, there's got to be a pig down there. We never saw a pig, so I'm getting pissed about that. And then I'm like, I'll tell you what I'm really doing, because we're all human beings here, right? I'm going like, man, fuck, dude, man. This dude done blow my ear out, man, and I didn't get to kill that pig, and I'm down here, man. And Jimmy don't care because he already got his pig, man. But right? I'm thinking that, right? And but eventually we come up out of there, and we glass a pig, that same like white pink pig, over there in that spot, and it's like 1.5 miles. Which is this is it's been a really good lesson for like Western hunting for me, and this glassing and
using onyx
and realizing that you cannot bomb off, because what I want to do is bomb off every fucking hill and just go down and get over there and try and get up, but all that up down shit don't work.
Nope. That's when I told you about Naismith's rule.
Okay, talk about that.
Let me pull it up.
Okay,
continue to tell the story.
But so anyway, we get up to this hill. We get to where we get a signal. We call the maintenance guy, Dane. Dane comes up in a like a side-by-side. We ditch the bikes. He gets us like probably 1 mile closer, because we're also losing light because it's 7 o'clock. And Dane's like a super nice guy, kind of hippie, like slow cadence. And I'm going like, hey, man, we got to go, dude. We're losing light. Like I'm not... Jimmy's like kind of talking. I was like, dude, just get us as close as you can so we can bomb off down this hill. But anyway, so we get there, we bomb off down this hill, and like I'm wearing, I made some terrible shoe decisions, and I'm wearing these like slicked out New Balance and sliding down this hill and like kind of feeling unsecure. But we get down there, and we get to the other side of this kind of deep crevasse, this creek. And Jimmy like gets on the side of this hill, and he's like starting to pull his binos out, and then you hear, and I'm like, pigs, man. And then so like Jimmy's like trying to glass, and I'm like, forget binos, just get my gun off of my pack for me, dude. So he gets the gun off the pack, and we see these 2 pigs come out, and I get one. It's like it was 116 yards. You ranged it. Got it, and then it ended up there was like 12 pigs. Like that's why we kept not being able to see them, because they'd come out into the open pasture and feed, and then they'd go up underneath these trees and like just root around and hang out and loaf. So we got this pig, but I mean it's as far away from any dirt road, anything we can possibly get, and it's low. And what do you think the elevation was up to that up to the road that we eventually would get on?
I mean,
Over 1,000 feet of drop, I'm sure.
I mean the main road, yeah. It was. I think where we got dropped off to where we had shot the pig. I think it was a like 800-foot elevation drop, and then we were about maybe half a mile from like as a crow flies.
Yeah, from that dirt road.
That dirt road, and so if you think about the slope on that, that's like nearly vertical.
Oh, it sucked, man.
It's probably like if you're thinking about like percent grade, it's probably like a 50 or 60% grade.
And then what? What did I say when we got to the pig? You were like, all right, you want to quarter this up?
You're like, no, we're dragging this thing out whole. this thing's too fat to leave.
I was like, had so much fat. When I split it open, man, it was so fat. It was in such good shape. I mean, I was very pleased with the shot I made, man. Like it was, I heart shot that pig. None of the guts were messed up. I was like, dude, the caul fat's good. The freaking liver's good. The heart's good. And so I was like, dude, Jimmy, we got to drag this thing out and hang it up in that cooler overnight and then clean it. I was like, it'll be the best thing ever if we do that. You know, because could you leave that hide on, man? That's like the best protection for that meat if you can get away with it if it's not too hot. It wasn't too warm. I mean, it took us an hour and a half to drag that thing about 500 yards uphill.
Yep.
And I knew it was bad because Jimmy is 27. What, he's 6'2"? Mm-hmm. Just strapping. I always tell people he looks like a brown Ken doll. All right? And then and I just turned 40, and I feel like me and Jimmy were both getting our asses kicked dragging that thing. We were like 1, 2, 3, like, moving this thing 3 feet at a time. Whatever, we finally get it out of there. I mean, and Jimmy's beat. We got back to the van finally at like 10:30 at night. Mm-hmm. And there's no getting cleaned up. I just my feet were soaked because I had to go through all that mud and crap in those sneakers, and I just dumped everything off of the back of the van and kind of did the feet rub thing as to knock whatever was off as I got into the covers and went. And then we spent 6 hours the next day processing.
Yeah, but we came back heavy.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
So let's go back to this, man. What did you think about me? I want to talk about this, about your. So here's what I want to tell you. What I'd love to talk about. I want to talk about how you perceived me just throwing a little fit. Uh-huh. I want to talk about this Naismith rule. Uh-huh. All right. I want to talk about how you, as an engineer, interpreted that convo we had 3 years ago about energy points.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll probably talk about something else.
Yeah.
We should maybe talk about. No, we're not going to talk about.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're going to leave that alone. But so let's talk about this. So you saw me. I was getting pissy. Shit, some sticky stuff on the floor there. I was getting pissy. I was getting mad. I was getting terse. I was like, God, Jimmy, right? I threw that bike. Mm-hmm. I got stuck in that mud pit, and I just threw that bike, and I was like, blankety blank.
It didn't bother me that much, just because I've been there.
Sure.
And I get there when I go elk hunting, because you want an elk so bad. Mm-hmm. And you've been hunting after him so hard, and you've got these bikes, and you're just getting, your ass handed to you day after day, and you're like, is it that fucking hard to encounter a damn elk that wants to die?
Yeah, it turns out it really is, man.
Yeah, and then you're feeling the same thing. We're running into all this sign. We're getting our asses handed to us. You're slipping and sliding because you don't have boots. And you want to be successful. And so I was like, if I've been in those situations, and what I need is just time for a couple seconds to myself.
When I threw that bike, I looked at you and you looked at me and you just turned around and you just kept going. And I remember at that moment I was embarrassed, and then I was like, dude, that was an absolute right. Because what are you going to do? Engage with me when I'm being a fuck? I don't mean to curse this much, dude. I've been on the road with dudes for 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not being reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm like getting mad and just like, I'm getting mad at people that are being nice to me and stuff. And it's like, but what happened? As soon as I killed that pig, what happened?
Oh, you just turn into like the most joyous person ever.
Yeah, it just like all melted away.
You're smiling
ear
to ear and like, oh, look at all this. I'm going to turn this into bacon. And man, your mood in like 180'd in
real quick, man.
Half a second.
Real quick, dude. Man, that place was so awesome. But yeah, let's talk about that. Is it Naismith rule?
Yeah. Before we get there, I wanted to mention. So Jonathan, before the turkey season, I'm like, hey man, like, I can't wait to share beers with you and like just be sitting around camp.
Oh man, why you gotta talk about this,
Jimmy? And he's like, oh, I'll only have a beer for every turkey that I shoot, and that went right out the window.
It went right out the window the first day because I picked up Buyer, and Buyer's like, hey, man, we got to stop and get some beers. Mm-hmm. That's why I went out the first day, man. But, yeah, there has not been a day thus far that I have
you can chop this.
That I have not drank some beer or some wine or some champagne.
No, but it's good. You're living life, and like, for me, whenever I go to events and most of our events are pretty dry. Mm-hmm. When I get back, the first thing I want is a drink. Like,
dude, I'm telling you, man, you get up early. I mean, if you're getting up at 4:30 in the morning and you kill a turkey at 11 o'clock, and then you get back to the van, mm-hmm. like you've been up for damn near a work day. Mm-hmm. Like sunshine and beautiful California weather. You're feeling good. Like, man, that old beer, like that day we killed those 2 turkeys and we were just sitting there and Jay was like taking some drone pictures of like just us looking at the birds and drinking a beer. Man, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. And it's not that we like drink to excess every day, but
no.
I did have a day I got like wine drunk with these friends of mine when I like Jimmy's a lunatic and he drove like 13 hours straight, and I was like, dude, I know this person that's like 3 hours away and they got this dope Airbnb. I think I'm gonna go sleep in my van in their driveway and wash my clothes and stuff, dude. And then I stayed an extra night and got a little wine drunk, but yeah, La Dolce Vita? That's Italian. The Beautiful Life. I'm just trying to suck up the beautiful life, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, this is like some special shit that, like, I mean, there's very few people that will ever get to do this kind of a trip, mm-hmm. So, and I'm like away from my family. I talked to Buyer about this too, man. Like, I'm away from my family and like I miss them, and I also feel guilty because I know it's a shit ton of work for Marianne. Mm-hmm. And Buyer's like, man, I used to do that, and I'd start being like, man, like I'm feeling guilty because I'm working, but like I'm enjoying myself. And mm-hmm. he was like, dude, if you're going to feel like that, he's like, don't leave the house.
Yeah.
He's like, if you're going to leave the house, leave it, get everything you can out of it. He's like, when you get home, you be 110% present. Mm-hmm. So that kind of, him telling me that, and like Buyer's a dude I like really respect, and he's been, this dude's been gone for 150 to 190 days a year for the last 20 years. The entire time, he's got like a 20-year-old. Mm-hmm. It's like kid's entire life. And so I was like, man, he probably knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So pour the bubbly, Geraldine.
Yeah. And he has a saying too.
That
you started saying.
Well, he just mentioned it to me. And I was like, dude, did you come? Is that your expression? He was like, yeah. I was like, dude, that's profound. But Buyer's like a big, what got him into outdoor photography and hunting photography and everything is skiing, mm-hmm. and skiing photography. And he talks about, like Buyer says all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, Jay. Like, he's called ski touring. And I was like, what is that? He's like, we don't ride chairlifts up. He's like, we put these skins, like this coating, like this, put this thing on the bottom of the skis that allows it to slide up but not slide back. And that's how they get up to the top of these mountains. And then they like do all this gnarly, it's called shredding the gnar. Mm-hmm. And they come down, right? And I was like, is it fun to skin up? That's what it's called, skinning, to skin up. He's like, no, it's not fun at all. He's like, but what I realized is, he's like, my body needs the up and my mind needs the down. And so I've been saying that a lot as we've been getting our asses kicked on the ups. But then, like, when you get to the down, like riding those bikes on the down, mm-hmm. It's like the most beautiful place ever. And I'm literally going, wee. But yeah, man, do that Naismith rule thing.
Yeah. So Jonathan keeps referring to the way I analyze the world, and it's just, I guess maybe like my education kind of screwed up my.
No, dude, it's also just your nature. I'm just saying that one of the reasons that me and Jimmy, like, we get into, like, I think that we're like good hunting partners is because Jimmy is very like STEM oriented and like analytical in that way. And I'm very, like, while I often think that I'm definitely very introspective and thoughtful, but like, I'm running on gut feeling and emotion, like, primarily, right? And so Jimmy and I balance each other out with that. But it's real. The more time I spend with Jimmy, it's just so apparent that the way that we, like, dude, if Jimmy's head was translucent, like if it was clear, you'd see like these wheels and stuff and little gears moving when he's thinking about stuff. Like, I just watch him and he's, what are the humidity over here is this, and then that will affect my ability to drop. But anyway, so he's like saying, I'm saying, let's bomb off after these. He's like, dude. And then he gives me this information.
Yeah. And so I actually just recently learned about this at the Western hunting program that we did a couple weeks ago. And I always knew that, like, there's a certain time associated with how far you go and like the elevation change. Mm-hmm. And apparently some British hiker named Naismith developed a rule, and it goes like this: allow 1 hour for every 3 miles walked, add 1 hour for every 2,000 feet of ascent, allow 1 hour for every 5 kilometers walked. So to me that means, okay, so for every 3 miles, if you're walking on a straight, like as flat as it can be, it'll take you an hour to walk 3 miles.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. And then where we were at, it was not straight.
No.
It was basically vertical. So every step you take, you're going down a foot or two. And so elevation gain and the calculation for that gets way more critical. And so when Jonathan was thinking, oh, let's just bomb off this and let's go catch up to him on Desolation Flat, the closest road would have been another 1,000 feet up, which, if you do the math, it's roughly an hour and a half-ish to just walk back up to that road. And we were running out of daylight. We were, we had about an hour and a half of light left. It's a lot quicker to go downhill than it is up, but we would have been on those pigs like right as the sun was setting. And so yeah, I also, like, to bring it back to one of the first teachings that Jonathan ever gave was
teachings. I don't know about that, but no, it was when we first met. That first time I came out here to hunt, and we were just like hanging out and like really kind of getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And you were, dude, as I recall, man, you were just like real stressed, and I was kind of trying to tell you, man, like, dude, you're doing really good, man. Like, you were 24, you owned a house, right? You were like supporting your household, and you're like, oh man, the kitchen will look so much better next time you come. And I was like, dude, chill out, man. Like, you on some man shit here, dog. Like, 24 and you have a house, man. Like, dude, yeah, Jimmy, you and me are real different 24-year-old spaces. I assure you.
But one of those things was you only have so much energy per day.
You got 100 energy points a day.
Yeah, and I think you have 100. There's some overlap, but you've got 100 points of physical energy.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 100 points of emotional energy, and then another 100 points of like thought energy.
Okay.
And that they kind of overlap.
Mm-hmm.
If you're completely depleted on your physical side, like you're not going to be able to give 100%, another 100 points towards like your emotional energy or whatever. And so I took that very seriously and was like, okay, what does that actually mean on the physical side?
Yeah, what I'm telling Jimmy, I was like, dude, you can't, spend all your time worrying about your job because then you won't have any time for Lydia.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you can't spend all your time worrying about Lydia and just catering to whatever the moment might be in the relationship because you're trying to build this organization, right? I was like, so dude, you got to pick where your energy's going, and sometimes all your energy needs to go to one thing one day. Most of the days you need to divide it up a little bit, but again, so I'm kind of talking a bit in the realm of like, emotional management or whatever else, and Jimmy goes beep, beep, beep.
Yeah, and so on the physical side of stuff, you got so many calories that you can burn every day.
Yeah, what did I tell you, man?
I don't remember.
I was like, Jimmy, I got a whole lot of extra calories I can burn. I ain't worried about that, dog.
Yeah, you're eating like a bird every night, and I'm like I want to have like a burger and a full meal so that I'm like,
dude,
ready to go.
You're 27, man.
Yeah.
I am entering the stage in my life where things are starting to not bounce back. What's real funny too is like, so I'm 13 years or 12 and a half years or something, but basically 13 years older than Jimmy, and Jimmy's mom is 13 years older than me. And so I'm like hanging out with him and talking to Jimmy about, whatever. I'm also kind of, I don't know. I had an extended adolescence in many ways because I played music for so long. But then I'm like talking to Jimmy's dad about like plantar fasciitis shit, man. I was like, oh man, I know what you're talking about, man. Or like we'd be getting our butts kicked all day, and Jimmy's like walking around, and I sit down, and it's like, ugh, like I make that fucking dad noise because like I can tell my knees got worked, and Jamie's like, and I was like, yeah. But yeah, you talking about caloric intake and all that shit, man. And I'm like, dude, I got caloric excess take, man. I need to get this shit off of me. But dude, I love that you took that. You said that was like a really impactful statement. And like, I think you do apply it with like your relationships and interpersonal skills. But yeah, you're also talking about, well, if we, because what it was is what it was I felt like we hadn't just killed ourselves to get those turkeys. And I was like, man, we'll just walk a couple miles back to the van, dude. I was like, I'm not going to take a ride. And Jimmy's, you should see Jimmy right now. Jimmy's like, nah, man. He's like, we getting a ride, dog. And I was like, Jimmy, we're hunting, man. Like there's earning involved in this. Anyway, we ended up getting a ride, and I was real glad because what I hadn't realized is that the reason it was so enjoyable to ride those bikes that distance is because we were going downhill.
Yep.
And the other way was all uphill, dude. I was riding in the back of the truck going like, oh my God. It would have taken us 2 hours to walk back there. All that uphill.
Yeah. Maybe more.
Yeah, it would have stunk, dude.
Yeah.
But man, that place was so rad. It was such a cool place to spend a bunch of time, man. And then we got to Oregon, and we haven't killed a bird in Oregon yet. And as Jimmy said to me, I'm turkeyed out. So I'm going to I'm going to Portland, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to the heart of Antifa today to record some podcasts and stuff. And then I'm moving east to hunt for a couple days in East Oregon, trying to find a bird there, burn this tag, and or use this tag. And then I'll be pushing up to Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to meet up with Ben O'Brien and Sam Soholt and turkey hunt with them for a few days, and then spend, the last 4 or 5 days in Montana. And like initially I was going to bear hunt. I still kind of haven't decided. I'm going to get to western Montana and just see what I see, but or I might just go to eastern Montana. I got to stop in Bozeman and do some stuff, but I don't know why I'm telling everybody this right now. But
This is it's a continuation of Turkey Bebop.
Oh yeah, we're turkey bebopping. And I think did you coin the turkey bebop?
Potentially.
Yeah. See, man, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't really liked calling it turkey tour because it I don't know, man. It almost strikes me as like disrespectful to the birds or something. It sounds a bit too consumptive or too rooted in dominion.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone's ever spent time with me, if you've like come on one of the hunt experiences or anything, I say the phrase bebop constantly. Man, we just go over here, man, bebop around a little bit, man. Let's go down there in that flat and bebop, man. Just bebop our ass over here. And so Jimmy started saying we should call it turkey bebop, which I like so much better.
Yeah, it's more Black Duck Revival-y.
Yeah, it's more Black Duck Revival-y. Shit, dude. Well, so what are you moving into next, man?
Well, eventually I'll find I'll regain some of those energy points, and I'll go try to fill my tag here in Oregon for turkeys in a couple weeks probably. Once they're not henned up.
Dude. God, dude. I mean, look, this is great, man, because it's really having to work and learn different things, man. But, buddy, when they're fired up and they just all want in, it's so great.
Oh, yeah.
It's so amazing to watch them. Man, we got our butts handed to us yesterday, dude. Like, those turkeys wouldn't come in. I mean, how many times do you think that was?
I
counted like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think there's roughly 10.
And then they had probably 6 or 7 hens with them. There's a couple jakes out there, and dude, they came in, they puffed up, they gobbled 80 yards away.
Yeah, they skirted
and
around
just
at that.
skirted all the way around us. We can never get them to come in, man.
Yep.
Oh God, it hurt.
Then I was sitting. I thought it was gonna happen so quick that I didn't really get comfy.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting there, and my tailbone was just like shooting pain up my back. And I was just like, oh,
at some point, sometimes it gets to where like you might blow the opportunity to kill a turkey because you can't sit in that spot anymore.
Yep.
What's this? What's that muscle that runs, or that? It's fascia, I think, that runs on the outside. IT band.
Yeah.
Dude, my IT band was screaming, dude. But I'm just looking. I'm looking at all these turkeys, man. And I can't move. I can't move. I'm like moving my eyeballs, and I'm like, are they seeing my eyeballs? But so you're going to try. You think when it gets easy, you're going to go out and get you a turkey?
Not that it ever gets easy.
Yeah. When it gets easier,
they just become a little more cooperative.
Sure.
I'll probably go out and try to get one with a bow here in town. And then, so on like the work side of stuff, I mean, the work side of stuff, what we've got coming up is working on a pretty cool project right now, and we're hoping to do an official launch with that project in June, sometime in June. And hopefully that's a way for us to start getting having an impact in states where we don't have ambassadors yet. And then immediately after that, my focus, I mean, it's already on that, but 100% of my time is going to go towards the ambassador program. And this year we'll we'll be recruiting another 5 to 10 ambassadors. Hopefully, bringing in our first 3 to 5 tribal ambassadors. They're going to be different than our state ambassadors. State ambassadors operate under the state regulations. Tribal ambassadors are going to work under the umbrella of tribal regulations.
Okay.
And so tribes that have their own natural resource departments and own tagging and licensing systems. And
what states are you looking to start ambassadorships in?
So Eric Thompson is going to be our Montana ambassador.
Okay.
He's out on the
Hardwired Outdoors?
Yep. He's going to be out on the eastern side of the state primarily, but Eric has a shirt that says "We'll travel we'll travel with dogs to hunt" or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's really excited about just showing folks how to hunt upland game in the state of Montana, and probably waterfowl and big game when he gets around to it. But we'd really like to have an ambassador in Minnesota. We would like to have somebody in Southern California. Right now, our ambassador, Richie, who's stepping away this year, he was based out of the Bay Area, and we get a lot of people in the southern part of the state asking us when we're going to have somebody down there. And so we'd like to have somebody there, and probably somebody in Georgia or South Carolina, or we've got Justin in South Carolina. I mean North Carolina. But yeah, it's a growing program, and last year, with the first full year of events happening with our ambassadors, we were able to get just over 1,000 people out on their first hunting experience, an outdoor kind of pathway to hunting experiences. So the goal this year is to do more than that and get another 1,500 people out on their first path to hunting experience. So
when you're doing that, you're shooting plays, learning wilderness skills. What else you doing? Archery classes?
Yeah. So first off, we build community. That's at the heart of everything, because hunting traditionally has been passed down from generation to generation. And if you don't have that in your immediate family or within your sphere of influence, you are looking for others to kind of pass it down to you. And so step 1 is build community. Step 2 is training. So part of that's getting your hunter's ed done so that you can buy a license. Next part of that is becoming proficient with the weapon that you intend to use. And then what we incorporate on the next part is what we call field days, which is just getting out. And so if you're pheasant hunting for the first time, you'd be behind dogs and get to see how dogs are operating. And then we also like to build in conservation projects to our field days. And so if we're working with a private landowner or even on public land, we're going to try to incorporate some kind of conservation project where we're giving back to the land because the land is providing for us. And then that all culminates in a hunt. And so depending on where you're at regionally, so in the Northeast, there's deer everywhere. The Northeast is very focused on whitetail deer. Our Texas ambassador this year is going to be focused on waterfowl and some exotic species in Texas.
That's Bashir?
That's Bashir. Our West Coast ambassadors, so Malcolm up in Washington, he's very focused on waterfowl. And so waterfowl is his jam. And I mean, he hunts for everything, but he thinks that his theory of change is that if you get people invested in waterfowl, or at least give them the ropes of waterfowl, they can translate that into big game or turkey or whatever. And so it depends regionally. It depends on who the ambassador is. And so this year we hope to have roughly 20 ambassadors, and they'll be leading Hunters of Color sponsored events. And we also hope that with one of our projects that's coming up in June, that we'll have opportunities for folks to get out who aren't in states that have yet to have an ambassador there. So they won't be Hunters of Color sponsored events, but there'll be ways for folks in every state in the nation to connect and find mentors and like it's streamlining our mentorship process. Our mentorship process in the beginning was connecting people one-to-one. That was in itself a full-time job. And so we adopted the community-based mentorship model. But then we're going back towards the one-on-one style, and we're doing that through an automated system. So
cool, man.
A lot
making
happening.
A difference, Jimmy.
Yep. And Lydia just got back from DC, where she was talking to a lot of very influential, powerful people in this country about how to make the outdoors more available and accessible to BIPOC communities. And and we hope to continue to push forward and get more people involved, so that maybe down the road somebody else will come up with a beat bop of their own.
Stay out of my bebopping. Well, so yeah, I'm gonna finish getting my van together and take a shower at your house. And then we're gonna go have one last shared meal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm off to Portland, the heart of Antifa.
Or you're going to go get your knife sharpened.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to stop by Benchmark. I'm going to need to before I go to Portland, man.
Yeah.
Dude, the last time I was in Portland, I recorded a podcast with Amanda Lucier. And I'm like leaving. They got this cool-ass house, and this real neat house in like Portland up on a hill or something. And I'm driving through, man, and you're like, dude, just the visibility of homelessness and, just the problem with fentanyl and all that is like, it's right out in the open in Portland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember, this is tragic and also funny. But I just remember I'm like driving down the road, and it's like early in the morning, right? And I'm driving down this like line of tents, and I just see this, like a zipper. It's like a split zipper on the tent, like it's kind of divided the triangle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just see this. Butt stick out of it, like bare butt. And then this guy just backs out. Kind of bent over and just backs out. And he ain't got no pants on. And he was just waking up, man. Just out there on the street, just getting some fresh air on his bits and pieces, I guess.
Nice.
But I was like, what the hell, man? That's just a dude's butt, man.
When you got to go, you got to go.
I guess, well, no, he wasn't going. He was just, he just
getting some breeze.
Yeah, it's probably easier to stand up outside the tent, I guess. But
yeah.
I was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not used to seeing, I am used to seeing butts in the morning, but normally it's little kids saying, wipe me, daddy. It's your duty to clean my booty. I think we've run out of stuff to talk about.
Well, your van you just park it next to any other of the vans that are set up along the roads in Portland.
Yeah.
It'll stick out because it's not tagged and it's got 3 or 4 inflated wheels and.
Yeah, no, man. I won't be spending the night in Portland. I'm gonna push on, push on to the east.
There you go.
Anyway, dude, well, I'll probably say some nice things about you in the intro that I do this, man, but shit, Jimmy, it's been a absolute fucking joy and a pleasure to hang out with these last couple weeks, man, and yeah, dude. You're a great dude, man. I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing good work.
Thank you. 2024, what is, I know you talked about it a little bit, but.
What, Turkey Bebop?
Yeah, Turkey Bebop 2024.
Well, so I've got to figure it out. I think it would time out. But so I want to bring Mary Ann. I'd like us to go do that California run.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to bring Mary Ann out there with me. to like take pictures and just hang out because I think she'd really enjoy it. But I think next year, man, I'm gonna be going like across the Southeast and then end up in Maine. I like want to go see, like I want to go to Florida, chase an Osceola. I want to go in like kind of the heart of turkey hunting culture, right? So like Georgia and Mississippi and all that. I want to bump up to Virginia and hunt with Wade Trong and Rachel Owen of Elevated Wild, and then there's David Joy and Worth Parker in North Carolina, possibly your family property in South Carolina, and then I got a buddy in Vermont, and he gets on turkeys pretty good. There's a dude who's a board member in BHA named Brian Bird in New York that I want to holler at. He seems like he stays on turkeys in New York.
Yeah. And
then my friend Alyssa, who I got wine drunk with her and her friend Tibby the other day. She lives in Maine, and dude, the video she sends me of like her yard is insane. And so I'd like to go. And Maine has like the latest season. Like I think the Maine turkey season runs into June. So because it's so far north. So what we could probably do is like early in California, and then go do the Southeast. And obviously, man, you just fly out somewhere in the Southeast and ride in the van for.
I'll join you for South Carolina.
Yeah.
And California. But yeah, the Brian Bird is a mentor of ours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was at he's been at a bunch of events, but one that I showed up to in New York a couple years ago. Brian, in his youth, was a butcher. And
oh, really?
He was the butcher I was talking about who lost count of how many deer he had processed after 3,000.
Ooh, I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah, so it's like watching an artist break apart a deer. It was like he knew exactly where every single tendon was when he's pulling the lower leg off, just snapping it off. And me, I'm like always like fiddling around with, there's that tendon and there's that joint. He broke an entire deer down in like while giving instruction in like 20 minutes,
dude,
and like ready to go and to get wrapped up in about 20 minutes. And I was like, one day I hope to get to that point, but here on the West Coast, you'd have to have a lot of property, or have access to, or have a lot of money to kill enough animals to get that good. But on the East Coast, where there's so many deer, I mean, one of our ambassadors obeyed out of he's like Morgantown, West Virginia, which is just on the border of Pennsylvania. He killed, I think he said 10 or 12 deer this year.
Good Lord.
And so like there are places in this country where you can get very proficient.
Alabama, you can kill a deer a day for the entire season.
Yeah.
You come to Arkansas and crank out several whitetails if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jimmy, I tried to wrap this up just a few minutes ago. And you're going on one of your tangents, which is what this podcast is about. But anyway, all right, dude. Well, yeah, let's go eat some French toast.
Get some calories in there.
Yeah. Your caloric deficit.
Yeah.
Not mine.
So I can do some gardening today.
Yeah, man. Cool. Well, all right. Jimmy, thanks a bunch, dude. And folks, thanks for listening. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening all the way through to this episode of the Black Duck Revival podcast. As always, produced and brought to you by me, Jonathan Wilkins, and Brian Sachs. I think we've got one more podcast coming from Turkey Bebop 2003, so we'll have that coming up here next week, or as Hal Herring says, in a week to 10 days. And man, I hope you guys have been enjoying following along with my 28-day long trip all the way out there, so we did Texas, California, Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico, finished up in Oklahoma. Just an experience and like a time that it's kind of hard to describe. Just having enough time to just let stuff breathe. You know, like your knowledge base has some time to breathe and just expand and settle in, and your relationships with people and all of that, man. So it's been so fun keeping you guys kind of abreast of what's going on, and we'll be doing more of that stuff, a lot more of that kind of stuff. I think is, you know, whatever this is, Black Duck Revival is going to move into that wanderlust, I think, a bit more heartily. So keep up with that stuff on the website. We'll start making some changes and updating the website here, and we'll get those hunt dates out here in the coming weeks. And then follow along on Instagram, just Black Duck Revival. That's the tag, and see what we're up to, see what we're doing. If you enjoy the podcast, please take a minute and leave a review. I really appreciate our buddy Kip here in Arkansas just put one up, and I've gotten a couple of really beautiful emails that apologize, as we talked about before. I'm bad with that stuff, but I'm going to get responses out to all y'all, and just know that I have been reading it, and I'm just so appreciative that folks listen to these conversations and seem to get something out of it. So until next time, folks, we'll see you later.